Okay, so today we're going to dive into something that I think a lot of people probably remember seeing, but maybe didn't follow too closely. We're going back to January of 2020, and there was this incident on an IndiGo flight. And it involved the comedian Kunal Kamra.
Right.
And the journalist Arnab Goswami. And we have a whole bunch of reports, commentary, various different viewpoints on this. And I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of see what we could learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think anytime you have like a very public figure kind of going at another public figure who's very well known as well, especially in a confined space like an airplane, there's going to be a lot of discussion about that.
Absolutely. And these are two people who, we've talked about both of them on this show before. And they've definitely come from, pretty different perspectives and have very different ways of, expressing their opinions.
Yeah, sure.
So, so this all happened on a flight. Kunal Kamra, he was traveling, and Arnab Goswami was also on that flight.
Okay.
And Kamra, he decided to film himself kind of confronting and questioning Goswami.
And what was it that he was asking about?
So from what I understand from the video and different reports, he was bringing up Goswami's work, and specifically he was using these terms like nationalism and journalistic integrity.
Okay, so these hot button issues that often come up.
And it's interesting because, we've all seen, I think a lot of people have seen the video of this.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really struck me is how Goswami just completely ignores him.
Oh, wow.
He's like sitting there just looking at his laptop.
Oh, really?
And even though Kamra is right there, in his face, basically talking to him, he just like won't acknowledge him at all.
That's so interesting. So just completely stonewalling him.
Yeah, and at a certain point, Kamra even says, like straight up, Arnab, you are a coward. You are not a journalist.
Wow, he really went there.
Yeah, he was not holding back.
So you have this very like charged statement and then total silence.
Exactly, and it's that silence that I think really made people start talking even more.
Yeah, because it could be interpreted in so many ways, right?
Totally. Is he trying to like just not give him any attention?
Right.
Is it like a power move, or is it...
Or is he just like, I don't even want to engage with this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to say what was going through his head.
Right.
But then the story takes another turn because shortly after this whole incident happened, IndiGo, the airline, they announced that they were banning Kunal Kamra from flying with them.
Oh, wow.
For 6 months.
Really?
They said that his behavior was disruptive.
Okay, so they saw this as like crossing a line.
Yeah. And what's really crazy is that then other airlines started doing the same thing.
Oh, so it wasn't just IndiGo?
No. Air India, SpiceJet, Go Air, they all followed suit.
Wow. So he was essentially banned from flying in India.
Pretty much. Yeah. It was a huge deal.
And that raises all sorts of questions about, the role of airlines.
Yeah.
In policing speech and behavior and...
It's almost like, are they allowed to do that?
Right. Like, where's the line?
And it definitely became this like huge public debate.
Yeah.
You had so many people saying, this is insane.
Right.
Like, yeah, maybe what Kamra did was like a little awkward or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's not like he was putting anyone in danger.
Right. Was it really a safety issue?
Exactly. And to ban him for 6 months from all of these airlines just seemed so extreme.
Like a total overreaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you did have people who were saying, look, an airplane's like a special kind of space.
Right. You're trapped in there with other people.
Exactly. It's not like being in a park or on the street.
Yeah. You have this expectation of like peace and quiet. And...
Yeah. You don't want to be, subjected to someone else's confrontation or whatever.
So they saw it as like a violation of that shared space.
Yeah. And I could see both sides of it. It's really tricky.
For sure. And Kamra himself, like, how did he respond to all of this?
Well, he basically said, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just asking questions.
Okay.
And he was also like very sarcastic on Twitter about the whole thing, kind of mocking the airlines and the ban.
So he didn't back down at all.
Not at all.
And legally speaking, like, did anything come of it?
He did file a petition with the Supreme Court challenging the bans.
Right.
But as far as I know, the court didn't really take any major action.
Okay, so it kind of just fizzled out in the legal sense?
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think the impact of it was much bigger than just, these two individuals.
Totally. I mean, it made people think about, how the media operates.
Right.
And like, what are the limits of free speech?
Especially in the context of like politics and public figures.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you have these two very different interpretations of what happened.
Right.
Some people saw Kunal Kamra as this really brave person.
Like he was holding power to account.
Yeah, and that he was, raising these important questions about journalism and nationalism that a lot of people were already thinking about.
So they saw him as like a hero almost.
Yeah, kind of. But then other people were saying, no, this is not okay.
Right.
You can't just like harass someone on an airplane.
Like he was using this captive audience for his own agenda.
Exactly. And so it really just kind of exposed this like huge divide in how we think about media ethics and how we should be engaging in these public debates.
It's tricky, too, because it happened on an airplane, right?
Right.
Like, what if this had happened in a different setting? Would people have reacted the same way?
That's a really good question. I mean, it does make you think, like,
totally.
Where are the boundaries between, like, public discourse and personal space?
Right, especially in a place where you're kind of stuck with the people around you.
Exactly, and I don't think there are any easy answers there.
Definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
As we navigate these increasingly complex interactions.
Absolutely.